What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the NoFaceCrypto channel. Real quick, guys, for Uphold, 100% the best exchange for your crypto. Link in the description. Sign up for Uphold now using my link in the description. Get $20 in USDT or equivalent value right now. All right? Keep your crypto off of the exchanges. In order to do that, you need a cold storage wallet. For that, you can use Ledger. Ledger is a very safe open source cold storage wallet, and with a purchase with using my link, you get up to $20 in Bitcoin back for free. You also get $20 in USDT back for free when you use my link in the description to sign up for Uphold now. And last but not least, Caleb and Brown. For one-to-one support for your crypto, a one-to-one advisor and a one-to-one broker. Please lock in, and you are able to call your Caleb and Brown broker in real time any day, 24/7, 7 days a week, guys. This is the way to go when it comes to offloading and accumulating your crypto. All right, use the link in the description to check that out. I 100% highly recommend that. Full disclosure, I do get a kickback, but it is okay, guys. With that being said, let's get into the video and lock the fuck in. You feel me? No face, no guys. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome back to the DeFi series, where we'll be breaking down DeFi in full and showing you guys how to earn yield and make money on your digital assets. With that being said, there are many different platforms within DeFi, so it is pretty difficult to cover all in one video or in one basis here. But for this video in specific, and just kind of to start a new platform and to talk about DeFi a little bit more, we're going to be talking about the Magnetic DEX on the XRPL in specific. Now, with that being said, I have already created a few videos previously discussing very common scams in the DeFi space. Alright, when it comes to this stuff, you have to be very, very vigilant, even when it comes to stuff on the XRP ledger itself. We will get into that in just a second. But always remember, guys, you have to audit the smart contract. You have to understand what you are buying into. Okay, because when it comes into DeFi, when you jump into that stuff, I can create my own asset, throw it into a liquidity pool, and somebody can buy it thinking it's the real one. And I know that might not seem like it might seem crazier for you guys, but this is true, okay? So for example, if Ripple issues XRP in a XRP derived liquidity pool, that is the original XRP from Ripple, right? But if I took my XRP that I purchased from Ripple, alright, I wanted to peg it on I created it in an F asset. I wanted to create another asset based off of that. So I created a representation of that. Then I threw that in a liquidity pool. Just called it XRP. People would still think it's just regular XRP. So I know that sounds like a bunch of bullshit, but what I'm getting at here is you need to be very, very careful with what you are investing in, because just because it says this is RLUSD, it does not mean this is the real RUSD XRP liquidity pool. Alright? But with that being said, we're going to jump into it. I am assuming you guys know to stay vigilant and stay careful of all these scams. But at this point, I am done talking about the scams. I want to get a lot more constructive and kind of throw a little bit more education for you guys who might not already understand what is going on. Alright, so with that being said, we're going to get into it, and the first thing to discuss here is AMMs. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, to understand a little bit better what a automatic market maker is, you must first understand what an order book is. If you don't already know, now you know. Very quickly, guys, an order book in traditional finance, when it comes to stocks, buying or selling crypto or any traditional asset, there must be somebody on the other end of that deal to fund that deal. Okay, so if I want to sell XRP for $5 in XRP, there has to be somebody out there willing to buy XRP for $5. So what you're seeing here in real time is a visual representation of that. And an order book in any traditional market is what matches these buyers and sellers up and complete these transactions. And then the people behind that order book, in this case it would be BitUnex, are the ones making the money on the fees of these transactions. Alright, so this is what matches it up. This is what congregates all the people who want to buy and sell crypto, stocks, anything like that. This is in the traditional markets. This is an order book. Everyone already kind of knows this. Now, this is where it gets very crazy because an AMM is basically the complete opposite of this, and I will explain that pretty much next. But this is the traditional order book, and everyone kind of already knows about this. This is where DeFi and traditional finance completely separate, and we're going to discuss that next. All right, guys, in simplest form, an AMM pool or whatever, all right, they use liquidity pools, and AMMs are basically crypto's version of order books, all right? So they congregate two pairs of assets or more, essentially, and they are going to be your hype man. So how do I explain this in an easy way? If I have RUSD and I have XRP, and I decide, you know what, I'm tired of sitting on this, I need to make some money here, right? I go into an AMM. The AMM is my hype man, okay? So I go to the AMM, I'm like, yo, you need to trust me, bro. I'm giving you XYZ RUSD and XYZ XRP. All right, you throw that into the AMM and you let it sit. Okay, so now when these people, when Bob over in Africa decides to buy RLUSD and he wants to go ahead, he buys it from a pool because it's cheaper than going to a regular exchange. So he goes to the pool and he wants to buy XRP or RLUSD to the same AMM, the pool that is using the same AMM that I am using, essentially. What happens there is he buys whatever RUSD at whatever price he wants to, and I then make a fee on that. I then make that fee, that money, that fee, the difference between what I put it in at and the difference in what this guy bought it at. They do some equation shit, and I end up making a yield off of that. All right. Whereas in traditional markets, if you're in the order book, you're not making a yield on when people make transactions in and out of liquidity pools. So this is what happens with AMMs. AMMs are your fucking hype man. Like when you go to a bar and you go to the club and your wingman is sitting over there just pulling the shawties for you, like that is what an AMM is, okay? They are the ones sitting out on the street corner with the sign saying, come here, buy here now, buy here now. They are like your hype man, essentially, in the crypto market. And they use liquidity pools. So that is essentially, if you will, what AMMs are, but I'm going to let someone more sophisticated explain them for you.
What is automated market making, AMM? Explained in less than 1 minute. Are you new to crypto? Automated market making, AMM, is an exciting innovation in decentralized finance, DeFi, that makes trading tokens simple and accessible. Unlike traditional systems that rely on order books, AMMs use smart algorithms and liquidity pools to manage pricing automatically. It's easier than it sounds. Liquidity providers deposit token pairs into a pool. When you trade, the algorithm adjusts prices based on the pool's token ratio. This ensures constant liquidity and fair pricing, even during high market volatility. Enjoyed this? Like, share, and subscribe for more crypto insights.
DeFi pretty much started around the DeFi summer, where Uniswap introduced this Uniswap V2 model. It's basically X, Y equals K model. It was great because basically anyone like you and me, we can stake our capital, we can park our capital on Uniswap, and then we can basically lazy LPing without managing our positions. So in this case, you enjoy a certain amount of APY in return. And I've tried on V3, I couldn't really make a good profit of it. And that's when I realized it's time to sort of make DeFi great again.
So, guys, you heard it there in the last clip. Make DeFi great again. Guys, for years, people were getting wrecked in DeFi for a reason I'm going to talk about next. But essentially, when you were putting money into liquidity pools, which the AMMs require to work properly, okay, pick any liquidity pool. It does not matter the pair. Essentially, you put money into this, okay, and you make a yield based off of people trading within a certain range of those prices. Now, a lot of platforms you can adjust this range to a certain amount, and if you go within or without this range, it kind of takes an effect on the amount of profits you make or the percentage wise, essentially. APY, APR, doesn't matter which way you're looking at it. Now, when he goes make DeFi great again, what this is meaning is they have brought back basically the new an improved version of DeFi where it's almost like training wheels are on for you guys, okay? It is so new, so brand new. They are making it unfuckupable. You cannot. I mean, look, I'm not gonna say you can't. I don't really think you can mess up too much on the Magnetic DEX or the XRPL too much right now. Essentially, because you do not have to set ranges, and what that means is it takes a broad range of the prices in the two asset pairs. Essentially, you can put. It doesn't matter what the prices go to. You will earn a yield regardless. The overall yield will just be a little bit lower. So they are already outpacing traditional markets with this. And that's what I need you guys to understand. Shit is getting crazy. But I digress. Alright guys, this will essentially be the last of like the boring videos. I need you guys to pay attention to what this gentleman is about to say here. He's going to go talk about basically the ranges and concentrated liquidity, which that is what the ranges mean essentially. So in like the broad scheme of things, when you're doing liquidity pool stuff, you have these ranges where you can be like, okay, I want to earn fees between the trades of this price and this price in relation to the assets that I've put into this liquidity pool. If the price ranges fall out of your goals, essentially, you will no longer be earning fees on what you put into the liquidity pool. So you have to constantly manage and readjust the position when you're in liquidity pools, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of people can get wrecked by doing this. So if you completely take this feature away, it eliminates that. And so you don't get wrecked. It becomes more of a surefire thing that people can earn yield, on their digital assets or earn fees or whatever you want to call it. Now, essentially when you're buying into a liquidity pool, you get stake in that liquidity pool through a liquidity pool token, which is represented by a formula involving both of the assets, essentially. Now, we're going to get into that in just a second, but I want to let this smart dude basically explain concentrated liquidity and what it is. But with that being said, with the Magnetic DEX on their XRPL, guys, this is not even a feature. You do not have to worry about this. And I don't want you to think that this is like a bad thing, that this isn't a thing, if you will. But why would you want to just sit and have to manage your positions all the time when you can just do chop chop and get it going right now, especially with DeFi on the XRPL that is so young. They are making it very user friendly and easy for people to understand. And honestly, like when it comes to the growth of a lot of these assets on the XRPL, it's not going to matter about concentrated liquidity or where your ranges are or what. You don't want to be. You can leave these pools at any time, so it really doesn't matter. You're not here to stay on top of your position. You're here to earn passive income. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to play this video and let this guy kind of go ahead for you.
Liquidity is the main concept behind V3. When LPs provide liquidity to a V2 pool, liquidity is distributed evenly along the price curve. Although this allows for handling all price ranges between 0 and infinity, it makes the capital quite inefficient. This is because most assets usually trade within certain price ranges. This is especially visible in pools with stable assets that trade within a very narrow range. As an example, Uniswap DAI USDC pool only uses around 0.5% of capital for trading between 99 cents and $1.01, a price range where the vast majority of trading volume goes through. This is also the volume that makes the majority of trading fees for the LPs. This means that in this particular example, 99.5% of the remaining capital is pretty.
So for some reason, it's not letting me finish the video here, guys. They don't want to let you know this information. They don't want you to win. They don't want me to tell you this information. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you anyway, guys. So with concentrated liquidity, when you are setting ranges in a liquidity pool, all right, understand the only thing this means is that if it goes out of the tradable range that you are setting, you will no longer be earning yield on the fees for your assets, okay? So does it really matter? I mean, it does. If you really want to get down and dirty and you know what the fuck you're doing, you probably would want ranges, okay? If you know that most people would love to buy XRP when it goes down to around $3 or just below $3, and you want to find a pool that will represent that, etc., then you would put, liquidity there at those ranges. And then you would make a lot more fees within those ranges. It would automatically stop out of those ranges. And so there is a smart way to do it, and people do that. But with that being said, it's not a necessarily function of liquidity pools, and it is just a feature, almost like gambling, guys. It's essentially the same thing as calling a long or a short on an asset. All right, if you think it's going to go down, or you think a lot of people are going to buy essentially long, essentially at a certain price, then you would open a liquidity pool position within those boundaries, and then you would earn a high amount of yield within those boundaries, quick in and out, and you're done. But a little bit of a hands-off approach would be something that to do something that is kind of active, like XRPL or like the Magnetic DEX, for example, which this isn't even a feature here. Like if I click on the mag pool here, it doesn't even give me an option to set a range or do anything like that. So people are earning yield off of this all the time, 24/7. It's not even close. And so this is 21% APR, but I want to be very, very clear here, guys. Like people will, like, there's boosting methods here. Like people will just earn more for no reason. There's some dexes here. There's some liquidity pools that are giving you hundreds of percent yield a year on an asset, and you don't even have to give up ownership of the asset that you hold. And so that's why this is so important. But I digress. Let's move on to the next topic very, very quickly, and we'll kind of break these down a little bit more into detail. But as you can see here, guys, this is the AMM. This is literally basically the order book, which we have already explained here. But we're going to go ahead and break this down a little bit further for you guys so you can see just what people are really doing with this. Just very quickly before we move on, I want to be very clear here, guys, that DeFi liquidity pools, they've been around for years, but still nobody really knows about them. And this is just one aspect of DeFi, guys. There's a million aspects, and we can break that down in later videos, and I will kind of go into that, for just a second here. But we are talking about liquidity pools here, and what is so interesting to me is, guys, like, look at the numbers here, okay? Some of these pools, there's only 65 participants, 40 participants, 15 participants, 30 participants, 2, 7, 9, and even your top liquidity pools have maybe a few thousand, a few hundred people that are involved in this stuff. The biggest liquidity pool on the XRP ledger right now is the mag/XRP liquidity pool. This is so new. Like, and I hope you guys can hear the excitement in my voice. I'm giving you guys, like, free access to this information. I could be charging for this. Nobody really knows about this yet, and this is just such a Russian nesting doll theory if you really think about it. Like, just for 1 second, sit back and just think. How many people know about crypto? How many people in crypto know past Bitcoin and Ethereum? How many people in crypto know about XRP? How many people in crypto know about the true use of XRP and the infrastructure behind it, including the XRPL and a lot of the Ripple payment infrastructure and stuff like that? Not a lot of people. And then go even further. How many people know about DeFi, AMMs, the magnetic XRP, the magnetic DApp on the XRPL or DEX or whatever you want to call it? Like, how many people really know about this? How many people have enough XRP to even take true ownership and true part in some of these things? It's literally 0.000001 of the world population, guys. So that's how insane a lot of this information is, okay? In fees in the last 24 hours, okay, this pool has already paid out 2.7K XRP, and I know that might not seem like a lot, guys, but this is the baby step early stages of what is about to happen. All right, so in a previous video, I've said, like, the RLUSD XRP pool is something to look at here, as Ripple just acquired Rail, literally like last week. So let's go ahead and dive into this. We're going to look at one for an example here. But I want you guys to use your imagination here and understand that there's more DeFi and more examples of this kind of stuff coming to the XRP ledger so soon. It's not even funny. The amount of money that is about to get poured into this is it's mind-blowing. And this is really what crypto is meant for, what it's supposed to be used for. don't sell your crypto. This is why people don't want to sell their crypto, because they're about to make generational wealth, passive income for the rest of their lives. All right, this is not a joke. This is not a drill. You guys need to start paying attention. All right, guys. Like I said, use your imagination here and understand what's about to happen. So first things first, I want to say I am personally invested extremely little into an XRG liquidity pool. What is the XRG liquidity pool, guys? XRG is the token behind all of like the casino games on the XRPL. So there is like the Rocket game and there is the Die game. Let's see if I can go ahead and find those for you guys real quick. So they have NFTs on here. Okay, here we go. So Crash is one of these games here. You guys have seen this in a lot of the like regular casino, online casino games that you see. This is like legit, and you can throw XRP in here, and you can whatever X your XRP if you want to. This is not financial advice at all. And then with that being said, there's another one here. There's another one that I gotta find here, but it is the Die one. You can double up your XRP balance if you guess under or over 53 or 47, essentially. And you can see here the history of some people making 20 XRP. They're losing half their XRP. Whatever they put in there, they're doubling up, guys. And you can see this real live on XRPL. And this is a form of DeFi. Just a small example, but it's absolutely insane, like what can be done here. All right, so that is just a little bit of what the XRG token is. So when you go ahead and you look behind XRG and you look at these pools, this is what I was talking about again earlier. Is you got to be careful. You got to know what you're investing in, because a lot of this stuff could be the fake coin. There's so many different XRGs here. Like, what are you actually investing in, right? XRP is XRP, but what are these? How many of these are XRG? RUSD XRG pool, XRP, XRG, another one, another one, another one, another one. So a lot of the stuff is getting really crazy here. So one of the things you want to look at is total value locked, the amount of contributors, you know what I'm saying? And you can go ahead and trace some of the, money in the contract edges here on chain to see where this stuff really comes from. But just off first glance, you know what I'm saying? You can see the volumes, I mean, not terrible. This is very, very new, guys. The APR here, the incentive is insane. There's a farming pool, 212% APR a year. Total value locked over the last 7 days has went up 134%. So we can see like this is getting a lot of juice under it, and people are really diving at this. So I just want you guys to see I have a position in this, and so this is how this works. So essentially now just use your brain. I have like 1 XRP in this. Not even. Alright. Let me see if I can find my position here. Essentially. So I have, it's hard to, I haven't seen this on the computer yet. I usually do this through my phone. But my position here, 100 XRG. I have 6,000 liquidity pool tokens and 0.4 XRP in here, basically. So I threw 1 XRP in here, and it divvied up half of my XRP, of my 1 XRP essentially, into XRG tokens. For these 2 asset pairs, I received 6,000 liquidity pool tokens, which is just like proof that I have a vested stake in this liquidity pool, and that is how they know how much yield to pay out to my account every day. Guys, I'm making yield every single day on this, and it's not like a lot, but it's just proof that this can be done. This is all a test. So 62 contributors, as you can see, guys. Excuse me. We're going to go ahead and pull up the yield here. Give me 1 second. I have to use the bathroom, and I'll pull this up for you guys. Alright, guys, so as we can see here, now remember, use your imagination, but I deposited 1 XRP into this liquidity pool. I received 6,000 liquidity pool tokens, and that is allowing me to receive around 1 XRG per day. So we can do quick head math here real quick, but if we have just the exchange rate here, sorry, hold on 1 second. Just right now, the exchange rate between XRP and XRG. 1 XRP, hold on, Jesus. 1 XRP is worth around 200 XRG tokens. Okay, so if I deposit around 1 XRP, and I'm receiving 1 XRG token due to my liquidity pool token share per day. If I were to, you know, invest in something like 100 XRP, and I was receiving something like 100 XRG tokens per day, right? And around 200 XRG tokens equals 1 XRP. Essentially, what that means is every 2 days, that's a free XRP. And I know that might not seem like a lot, but mind you guys, this is all $300. That would be like around $300 in XRP at this moment. Or not even. That's even less than that. Even less than that, guys. Like, do you understand like just a little bit of math of what I'm talking about here? So, let's just say you put in 1,000, and for some crazy reason, you're gaining 1,000 XRG tokens per day. Essentially, you can buy yourself 5 XRP tokens per day for free, completely for free, and that's just by putting up 1,000 XRP, which at the time right now it's around $3,000. But that's free XRP every single day, with almost no risk, depending on the liquidity pool you are taking part in. Now, remember, you don't like if you ever want to be out of this, you just withdraw, and that's all you need to do. But it's just crazy when you think about it like that. If my math is wrong, guys, someone go ahead and correct me in the comments. But I'm pretty sure it's almost correct. So that's just a lot of the crazy stuff that is happening here, and I'll show you guys just to test it out. Okay. Again, I'm gaining XRG tokens off of this. This is like a test wallet for me, so don't think that like I'm broke. All right. This is a test wallet, but I've been gaining XRG tokens for a few days now, since the 7th of August. So it's been about a week. Now, I have spent a couple of my XRG tokens, so like a few, like 2 or 3, but as you can see here, I have XRG tokens. This is proof that I'm gaining money from this liquidity pool, okay? So here's my XRG tokens. Now, if I wanted to take these and swap these out, I'm doing this for informational purposes only. If I wanted to take these and swap these out, let's say into XRP, right? I would go, all right, let's see. I'll sell 3 XRG, okay? And I can buy some XRP with this. It'll go straight back into my wallet. But essentially, I would get 0.01 XRP for that. Mind you, this is putting 1 XRP in after a week. So I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but this is right now, that XRP's current price. And imagine taking advantage of this right now in some of these liquidity pools, guys. You can own percentages of these liquidity pools. People don't even know about this shit right now. So it's just a little teaser for what's about to happen on this channel and what's about to really come here. But I will be putting a little bit more skin into the game, specifically on the XRPL. But with that being said, that's just a little bit of a teaser for you guys. I think I've showed you guys some pretty useful information here. Alright guys, really quickly, so I can just wrap up this video. Alright, this is an example from somebody else's wallet. And I just want to say here on the XRPL, like anyone who has a lot of money here, they're smart, extra, ultra smart, probably from Japan, and they know what they're doing. And other than that, most people don't know what the fuck is going on, okay? If you look at someone's wallet like this, it just shows you their stats. Since they've joined, they've gained about 7,000 XRP from doing this. And they've deposited tons and tons of XRP onto the XRPL. And you can see smart money is starting to deploy here, and they want to know what's going to happen. A lot of these people are making great money on their XRP yields, and some people are losing a ton of money here. And the best thing about it is you can check. You can check here. Let's go for someone who doesn't have just look at the wallets here. There is not a lot of wallets here who have tons and tons of XRP on here, okay? Just a few big whales. We go to something more attainable. Someone who might have I don't know, 600 XRP in here. All right, he's got 3,000 XRP in his wallet. All right. This guy has a little bit of money deployed into DeFi, and we're just trying to see here. He's pretty smart. He's got an RLUSD pool here. And we want to see, what has he done since joining DeFi. He's made 1% on DeFi, which, look, maybe it's not a ton of money, but it's still something. It's just showing that this is possible. And as this starts to take over, guys, and this is here, you want to learn about this stuff and be able to take over, because as this starts to take over, bro, you guys are gonna get left in the dust. XRP will moon, and suddenly people's bags who are worth 10, 20 grand, they're gonna be worth 100, 200K, and people are gonna be able to put 20, 30K into DeFi, and then suddenly 20, 30K into DeFi right now, you know, it might get you pretty far. Like this guy, what, 35 grand, 11,000 XRP. He's got almost 10,000 XRP, 30 grand put into this mag pool, right? And he's gaining an okay amount of money, you know, per day just on this. Now, I know it might not seem like a lot now, guys, and I feel like I say this all the time, but it adds up. This guy's up 30% on his XRP. He's gained 3,000 XRP, which is literally a top 10% position just for taking part in the XRPL and Magnetic DEX. And, you know, on face value, guys, this is like next to impossible to do. And if you look at a lot of these wallets, vast majority of people lose money, right? And this isn't gambling, though. This is just sticking to his fucking guns and knowing what he's doing. This guy's an early adopter of the mag pool, okay? So you got to be able to find your winners here, but just know that this stuff is here and it is not going anywhere, guys. Ready to go to the fucking moon. Strap the fuck in, guys. I'm going to get out of here for this video. I just wanted to provide some information for everybody, and yeah, that is about it for today. No face, no fucking case.